Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we discuss current day and old school pro wrestling, although old school for me is more fun. And today we're going to talk about Smackdown on the 14th of August, 2020. My gosh, can this show get any worse? So we will go through the program now. And week after week, I look and wonder if and logically I know this isn't true, but I look and wonder if they're not purposely trying to sabotage the program, because I can't imagine that people that have been around the business for 40 years could put together a program that's this bad. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment below if you have comments or if this content is something you like. Anyway, so they open with a recap of the Retribution thing. They still haven't told us what they're there for. They still haven't told us anything about who they are. They still haven't given us a motive. They still haven't given us an idea of the value of these folks. Michael Cole says that they're hiding, and Corey Graves points out there's increased security for tonight, which doesn't matter in about, less than 3 minutes. We then begin with Big E versus John Morrison with The Miz. However, as Big E and Morrison make their way to the ring, they air an interview earlier today, and Big E does probably one of the better promos I've seen him do as a single in a very long time. He notes that he's a former NXT champion, former Intercontinental champion, and Morrison makes fun of him, makes fun of the fact that his New Day mates are not there, and he also says he's going to put an end to him. So they don't end up having a match because the Retribution group runs in. So less than 3 minutes ago, you tell us that there's more security. The security apparently doesn't have any weapons. The security apparently doesn't have any force. The security apparently is about as useful as silicone body parts because, well, they can't even handle them for the first segment of the program. They do the same attack that they did the last time, this time on Morrison and Big E. The lights flicker, and somehow a member of the Retribution group gets up on the apron, and Cole informs us that there's more of them, as if we have visual impairment and can't see this. The bunch of them all run into the ring, and the announcers run away. Retribution group beats down both men indiscriminately, so apparently they hate everybody equally. Big E tries to fight back, but there's too many. Miz runs out to check on Morrison, however, he's too late. Just a heads up, there's a turn coming there. When they do it, I have no idea. We go to commercial, we come back, the roster is checking on Morrison and Big E. And then Miz says he blames being on the phone with his wife for not being able to, I guess, protect Morrison. Miz blames Big E for sending out a tweet that upset the Retribution group. Problem is, why are we running angles on the internet? The Fox viewers, the majority of them, are not following Big E on Twitter, I wouldn't imagine. So why would they care about something he said on Twitter? King Corbin approaches and says that he's the leader they need. If he's the leader they need, then where was he during this attack? Big E basically delivers a sermon-style promo and says he's going to get revenge on Retribution. Sheamus mocks him for not having Woods or Kingston with him. Sheamus says Retribution wouldn't target him because they're scared of him. Perhaps they're scared of how white he is, as in, like, his skin pigmentation, or maybe they're scared of the color of his hair, or maybe they're scared that he's 42 and acts 25. What are they scared of exactly? I don't get it. And so Big E walks out with Lucha House Party, Drew Gulak and Shorty G, so that's his army. A bunch of enhancement talent to mid-card talent. Obviously, the folks in the Retribution group are more powerful than that because those people didn't run out in the middle of the thing either. So they increased security around ringside, which why wouldn't you do that before if you really cared? SmackDown Women's Champ Bayley and Raw Women's Champ Sasha Banks are out. Banks noted that she defends against Asuka at SummerSlam, and they have they defend the tag titles at Payback. Now, for those unfamiliar or who don't follow everything, Payback is supposedly 1 week after SummerSlam. So explain to me why SummerSlam is special if we get another special 7 days later. This just feels like overkill and kind of pointless, which means we're going to get non-finishes at SummerSlam. Otherwise, there's no reason to have a special 7 days later. Bayley mocks Stephanie McMahon. Then they go to the triple brand battle royal. So the brand's extension no longer matters because we have stars from every brand on almost every show. Therefore, why would we care about individual brands? Bayley notes they're good at everything, better commentators than Cole and Graves. At least Cole, I think they're right. I'd rather listen to Bayley or Sasha anytime over Cole at this point. Asuka wins Battle Royal. She's going to challenge both Bayley and Sasha Banks at the pay-per-view, which means we'll have Asuka to whatever the word belts means in Japanese at the end of this, I assume, because we like to redo angles that are not really that important anymore. Participants in the Battle Royal include Asuka, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Tegan Nox, Shazzy Blackheart, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, Bianca Belair, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Shayna Baszler. I ran through everybody. So out of all these people, all of them are in a battle royal that doesn't matter. That won't matter next week anyway, and only one of them is going to win. So therefore, we choose someone that's already won rather than giving the rubs to somebody who we haven't seen square off against Bayley or Sasha Banks or whomever. Anyway, Bayley and Banks do the ring announcing for this. They play their characters very well, but I think we're getting to the point where they're overkill if we haven't crossed that threshold already. They announce the rules for the match that people have to both feet hit the floor. Bayley says that Asuka being in this is a mistake. She attacks Bayley and Banks, but they escape. I will say Asuka is one of the more ferocious competitors in terms of her strikes on the entire roster when she at least is pretending to be angry, so that's a good sign. Everybody else runs out. The Iconics work together. They get rid of Ruby Riott and Morgan. Morgan's on the apron. She pulls out Royce and Kay, and then the Iconics return the favor. Cross goes under the bottom rope, catches Brooks on the with the ring apron skirt. Belair almost goes out, but she holds on. Tamina goes nuts and beats up many people. Cross ends up on the apron. Tamina hits a super kick to eliminate her. So Tamina, who's nearly 40, is for some reason eliminating one of the better stars they have that they haven't fully tapped into yet. Belair gets the better of Tamina, dumps her over the top, and Naomi goes nuts. Evans catches her with the woman's right to eliminate her from the match. So a punch is an elimination spot in a battle royal now. Blackheart eliminates Evans. Evans recovers and pulls out Blackheart. So basically we do even Steven booking there. Belair challenged Tegan Nox, but she ducks. Belair falls to the floor. Baszler takes over, dominated action for a few minutes. Baszler picks up Nox, but nearly dumped Nox on her head. That was scary. Nox is on the apron. Dana Brooke pulls her out and jumps back into the ring to get eliminated by Asuka. Final two in the match are Asuka and Baszler. We could easily have gone with a Baszler versus either Bayley or Banks, whatever the stipulation for the match is. I think this match was for Bayley, but instead we go with the tired Asuka. Now I like Asuka, I enjoy Asuka, but again, we over-push people and we don't create new stars, but we continue telling the stockholders that we're about making new stars. Somebody's lying. Anyway, Baszler hits a running knee on Asuka. She lands on top of Banks and Bayley, which was an interesting spot. Came out of nowhere. This prevented her elimination. She's back up on the apron real quick. Baszler locks in the Kukina clutch. Asuka fights out and pulls her out of the ring for the final elimination. Asuka takes on Bayley at SummerSlam, and she also takes on Sasha Banks. So we see Asuka twice in one night. We wonder why. Bayley and Banks are mad about this. They even seem to be a little tense with each other. Bayley somehow says that it's going to be different next time because the title's on the line. So somehow non-title matches no longer matter, which means like wins and losses don't really matter unless the belt's on the line. Asuka jumps Bayley. They continue going back at it. They go to commercial, come back. They recap the Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville angle. Rose and Deville. Mandy Rose says Deville is not the first person to say she's got everything because of her looks. This seems to bother her. She says she won bikini championships and worked hard, and then that Deville should know how hard she actually worked. She challenges her to a hair versus hair match at SummerSlam, which would have been fine if they'd done the challenge, say, 4 weeks ago. But with a week to go, we care about the stipulation. Why? Also, women's hair matches. The last one I think they did was Molly Holly. Quite a bit ago, probably close to 15, 20 years ago. So, I mean, how disrespectful are you of your talent to ask them to lose their hair when you give them a week notice? Anyway. So Sheamus runs into 2 security guards, tells them to go home for the night. Nikki Cross runs into Alexa Bliss, hugs her, apologizes for what happens, and Alexa is distracted. She wants answers from Braun Strowman. Doubt she gets them. Sheamus squashes Shorty G. Fine for what it was, but I mean, Sheamus is using his power and domination to squash talent that could be worth more. Sheamus has the early advantage. Shorty G fights back. He's in control for a few minutes. Sheamus recovers, beats him up, and then Shorty G makes a comeback. Hits a missile dropkick that looked pretty good. Sheamus breaks free, and there's a near fall. Sheamus takes over with the white noise and wins the match with a brogue kick. AJ Styles promo. Joseph Park, otherwise known as Abyss from TNA. Daves makes his way to the ring. He is a statistician for AJ Styles. Anyway, Styles says he's not worried about retribution. He has much more pressing things, defending the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Styles talking about statistics. On Twitch, he uses the feedback of the fans to determine, I guess, his next title defense. Statistically, who should be his challenger, he wonders. Styles hires a statistics team, calls the Phenomenal Intercontinental Statistics System. Let's let that sit in. The Phenomenal Intercontinental PI Statistics S System S. So, yay, we're using like 13-year-old humor here. Styles reveals that there's a board with his name at the top and there's nobody else underneath him, which means, in theory, that no one should challenge for the Intercontinental title. Gee, that'll be an interesting match. Styles noted there's nobody good enough. Jeff Hardy, who is in his 40s, by the way, makes his way to the ring, asking for his next big chance. He points out that he should have faced Styles in the tournament had Sheamus not interfered. Hardy challenges Styles for the title match. Styles praises Hardy for making his comeback with his addictions. Styles teases agreeing, but says he's not going to accept Hardy's challenge. Hardy snaps and attacks Styles for this. Hits the twist of fate and signed his name on the board. I mean, I guess it's a good segment, but what does it do for the future of the company that 2 guys over 40 are taking up the Intercontinental title match on the second biggest pay-per-view of the year? This is not building new stars, which is, again, what they claim they're doing. Anyway, in the back, Lucha House Party steal the tag team titles from Sheamus from Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Styles is furious at Hardy, and he's venting to Joseph Park. and Caleb Braxton tries to interview him. Styles says Hardy doesn't respect him or analytics. Styles says he's going to erase Hardy and try to wipe his name off the board. It's in permanent marker and he can't do it. Park just looks at Styles and kind of whimpers and is uncomfortable. Michael Cole twice noted that there are rumors that next week's Smackdown will be from a different location. Do fans at this point, 6 months into the pandemic, care about where the product is coming from or a quality product? I would guess the latter. Graves pointed out that the WWE universe would be involved, so I guess that means we get virtual fans or something. So we go to the next match. Grand Metalik with Lince Dorado defeats Shinsuke Nakamura with Cesaro. I guess they're kind of starting to commit to a Grand Metalik push, which I guess is decent. Match was super short. Lucha House Party come out with the belts, and the champions take them back before the match begins. Nakamura has an early advantage. Metalik takes over with the dreaded chinlock of doom. Metalik hits a nice crossbody and then a springboard back elbow. Nakamura attempts an exploder, but Metalik lands on his feet. One thing I'll say for Metalik, he does have good agility and lands well. He hits a super kick. Cesaro jumps on the apron to cause a distraction. At this point, Nakamura regained control of the match, sets up the Kinshasa Lucha House Party, music hits, and Kalisto walks out. Haven't seen him in a while. I think he was injured and had surgery. I might be wrong on that. If somebody knows where Kalisto's been, please comment below because I do not. He makes his return. Dorado and Kalisto work together to take over Cesaro with a tornado DDT. Metalik recovers, hits a springboard elbow on Nakamura for the win. Surprised to see him win, but does Lucha House Party have enough credibility after being squashed for years to be something that the fans will care about? To me, I'm scrapping all talent that's been squashed. I'm either repackaging them or bringing people up from NXT and trying to recapture some of the magic that we haven't had. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviews Matt Riddle. She asks about Corbin and the King's Ransom bounty. Riddle mocks Corbin and gloats about costing him the match last week. Suddenly, Shorty G walks in, apologizes for trying to attack Riddle, and Riddle accepts his apologies. So Riddle is not only a stoner, but he's a stupid one. Corbin attacks Riddle from behind, and he thanks Shorty G for this, and Shorty isn't happy about this. Alright, so Alexa Bliss comes out, interviews, and discusses her friendship with Braun Strowman. They show highlights of their various friendship. Bliss says maybe she cares about Strowman, and maybe she cares more than he does. She doesn't know why the Fiend attacked her. So basically, I guess they want the fans to care about the soap opera nature of all this. I don't know. Anyway, so we then go to, they show Strowman saying he didn't care about Bliss, and she's asked how that made her feel. I would have thought it funny if she said just ducky or something equally ignorant. How the heck would you feel if your friend said they didn't like you in front of a national TV audience? You big dummy. So Sonya Deville mocks Mandy Rose in the interview earlier, and she accepts the challenge for the hair versus hair match. Big E defeats John Morrison with The Miz. Miz joins Cole and Graves on commentary, and he makes fun of Mandy Rose throughout the match. Why they're going with this angle, I don't know. Morrison has the advantage, targeted the knee of Big E that was injured earlier. Morrison attempts a springboard, but Big E pushed him to the other side of the ring on the floor. Follows up with a big splash on the apron. Miz distracts Big E, and Morrison uses chop block to injure the knee. Morrison continued to target the knee. Otis then makes his way to the ring to confront The Miz. Do we really care about Otis all these months later? I don't think so. The lights start to flicker. Cole is scared. They go to commercial. Back from commercial. Entire roster standing at ringside. Retribution shows up backstage, attack the referees and the crew, and they lock a guy in the bathroom. destroy the backstage area instead of the ring area. And Cole and Graves didn't try to inform the roster that all this was happening. A referee has to run out and tell them so. Everybody runs to the back but The Miz, so maybe The Miz is behind Retribution somehow. Morrison is firmly in control, but Big E makes a comeback. Uses a stretch muffler for the win. Obviously, the angle takes away from the match. Anyway, we closed, not with a match, not with something that would hype SummerSlam, but with a promo from Braun Strowman. I guess we're still caring about Bray and Braun more than the rest of SummerSlam. Anyway, Sheamus runs out, hits the Brogue Kick on Big E post his match. Braun makes his way to confront The Fiend, and we go to commercial. We come back. Strowman's furious, challenges The Fiend to come in the ring. He promises that he's going to be a different person when he comes out the swamp. Alexa Bliss makes her way to the ring instead. She says that Strowman's changed. He doesn't care about her. And she basically says that she feels used. Strowman tells her to leave. Strowman tells her that everyone changes. And the encounter with The Fiend, from the encounter with The Fiend, including her, she says he'll regret getting what he wants. Bliss demanded he look at her, and she slapped him several times. So, woman on man violence is okay, but man on woman violence is not. This is just goofy. Obviously, this is setting up her aligning with The Fiend, which is fine, but it's so predictable, it's ridiculous. Strowman picks up her up into a press slam. The lights go off. Strowman held her in the air. Strowman drops Bliss to the mat. Then the lights come back on. Fiend standing in the ring with Bliss. Strowman is on the Titantron laughing hysterically. It's a pointless segment and a tremendous way to close the program. And next week we've got two guys over 40 in the only match they announced for Smackdown. As I mentioned, can this program get any worse? Luckily, on the network, there is a bunch of world-class championship wrestling that actually has wrestling on it that makes some semblance of sense, at least 90% of the time, and I will be reviewing that. Anyhow, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.